It's all right. Yes, it's 3:01. And I think we're just going to give one more minute so that people can move over, get their bearings, get ready to focus and dig in. You are here for Bits and Bytes. So MiHIN has two monthly, usually monthly webinars or engagements. And one is called The Download. The Download is more big topics, the whys, the whos, and Bits and Bytes is meant to be more technical um, and more into the hows and the whats. And so you are here for Bits and Bytes today, and we are doing the hows and the whats of MiGateway. I think, in interest of time, we can get started. Thank you for being here. A couple rules of the road. If you feel like interrupting, I'm okay with that. I really am. I want you to get what you need from this. Say go back 2 slides. Say show me that again. Say slow down. Be with me. I'm gonna go off my camera because when I'm reading and I go through slides and stuff, I make really weird faces. But you guys have all seen me. I'm a real person. It is my pleasure to be here and to be able to do this and to work with you guys. So let's get started. Next slide, please. MiHIN. I hope by now you all know about MiHIN. If you don't know about MiHIN, I'm wondering, how you made your way here. MiHIN is Michigan's state designated entity for health information exchange. We are a nonprofit organization. We sit between um, very powerful sort of sectors. And we sit in between very powerful organizations. We are not solely owned or controlled by MDHHS or the government. We are not solely owned or controlled by any one payer or any one health system. We are meant to be a shared infrastructure that supports a full ecosystem. We are meant to be an unbiased data trustee, and we are here to help convene to share vital health information. Next slide. So MiHIN has been sharing health information for about 13 years now, and we do this at scale, what we say at scale, which means it's just a lot of information and we have a lot of participants. And in fact, we have about, we're sharing information with, we think somewhere near 45,000 different care providers for 13 million unique patients, humans, clients, care seekers. And there are about 6,000 entities connected to our network. And the participants in our network are representative of different levels of this healthcare ecosystem. I want to dig into the numbers here because it pertains really specifically to what we'll be discussing. So these 5,637, this was at the end of 2003, I think. So we'll have to update. Next slide. You'll see that of the 6,000, let's say, entities that are connected to our network, we have about 1,000 that are contributing data, which means that sort of like for every one contributing data, we share back with 4. So we have 4 times as many data receivers than we do senders. And what we're really looking to do over these next, many years is to really live up to the exchange name. Exchange means to give and to receive. So we are really looking for people to share information with us, just like we share with them. We have 99% of the hospitals in Michigan contributing. We have 329 SNFs, skilled nursing facilities. We are hoping to get the rest of them once we negotiate this large partnership with Point Click Care. We have home health agencies contributing ADTs. We have outpatient agencies contributing ADTs. And all of this information is flowing in real time. Next slide, please. So just to remind everyone here, when we talk about how we exchange information, how we exchange patient data, there are certain ways that works. So we can send information and we can send data to different endpoints, to different end systems. I think last I looked, we were working with about 100, maybe over 100 different systems that we send information directly into. We also receive information from different systems. And we have our own systems where you can find this information and then use it. And this is the basis of a health information exchange. You send, receive, find, use critical life-saving information. Next slide. So today you guys are here to learn more about what we call MiGateway. And it was named, a lot of people think it's like MiHIN Gateway or Michigan Gateway. They think it's like MiGateway as Sue Gateway, like My Casa as Su Casa. Oh, you know what? I'm turning off my video. This is ridiculous. I see myself. But it really stands for Medical Information Gateway. And that's exactly, that's exactly what it is. It's a system that, hold on one second, I've lost my way. It's a tool that we have developed, and it really is just a single solution that supports streamlined workflows, optimized care coordination, enhanced interoperability. It acts as our participants' single gateway to the wealth of information that we have in our network. And MiGateway lives, MiGateway lives on the World Wide Web. So a lot of, I want to say also here that we know that providers really want to be able to stay in their system of record. And we have the ability to create a single sign-on into MiGateway from your system of record, if that's interesting to you. Today, we're going to go over sort of like our web-based MiGateway. And I'm going to ask that you move forward, please. 1 second. Okay. So why would anybody want to use MiGateway? Like, what's the big deal about this thing? Well, actually, I'm just wondering, if you could put up your hand or say anything, put anything in the chat, say yes. Do we have people here who are currently using MiGateway? Anybody here currently using MiGateway? Are we seeing people's? Oh, great. Hi, Anna. Yes. Hi.
Yep, I'm seeing hands up too, Joanne.
Good, good, good. Okay. So if you're using MiGateway, I'm going to need your help because really I can sit up here and talk about your good work all of the time. Ashley, we're going to get to Viper. Thanks for saying. And I that would be my next question. So why would anybody use MiGateway? Well, like we said, MiGateway, it offers a sort of a shared way to look at all of the information that's flowing through the network about your patients. It is a way that you can look at and find members of your patient's care team and ways to get in touch with them. It is a way to view transition of care messages. It helps with population health. You can directly manage you can directly manage your patient population from this tool. And you can really decide on what information is valuable to you. Next slide. There are 5 modules within this tool. And at the end of this, I will be showing you the tool. But the modules that exist within this larger tool are manage acres, file submission, what we call TOC viewer, patient viewer, and also, a module where you can directly connect with MiHIN support. And so today we will be going through all of these modules. Now, I see that many of you are here. How many of you here currently use Viper? We're seeing hands.
Seeing lots of hands.
Lots of hands. Okay.
Lots and lots of hands.
Lots and lots of hands. All right. So one of the reasons why you guys are here then is because what you know as Viper. Viper is it is a legacy system for MiHIN. And you have probably learned by now. If you haven't, we will send you all of the information, but you've probably learned by now that we are migrating away from legacy systems. So what you know as your longitudinal record, that was called Viper, will be upgraded. And part of the why I'm saying upgraded is that we have been running many environments, some in parallel. The information that you have been able to access in Viper was contributed by a certain subset of our participants. It does not represent all of our participants. Said in another way, you cannot access information from all sending sources to MiHIN in Viper today. In the new longitudinal record, which will be housed in MiGateway, you will be able to see information for your patients from every sending organization in the network. Next slide. All right. So what does MiGateway look like? What are we talking about here? So some of you may access Viper today through a login online, and it's similar to MiGateway. You are given a password, and there's a couple of clarifications I'm going to say about the password. Let's see, the password. So we give you initial login, we send you an email, and you have to log into MiGateway within 5 days. Before showing you anything in the system, we also have you set up a dual authentication for security purposes. And you can pick your own application for that. And the system really walks you through it pretty nicely. So you log into You log into MiGateway, just like you would log into Solution Center. Next slide, please. All right. So the first thing that you get to in MiGateway is what we call the patient viewer. And the patient viewer shows you information about your client's provider, practice, managing organization, shows you patient address and status. So let's just see what it looks like. Next slide, please. All right. So you will get in and you'll look at your patient search. You're looking for information on one patient. Then you are looking in the patient viewer. You will put in a first name and last name for that patient, and you will search for that patient. The patient that will come up will be a patient that we know you are actively caring for. And the way that we know that you're actively caring for that patient is because they appear on your active care relationship service files. So if you put in, for instance, what do we have here? Is it Bob Blue? I can't see. Is it Bob Blue?
Yes.
Let's just say you had a ton of Bob Blues and you only put in Bob Blue. You only search by first name, last name. All of your Bob Blues would come up. The more information you have about a patient, the better, but you can search by first name, last name here. Next slide. You'll pick your patient and you'll see information that we have about that patient. The information that you are seeing about that patient here will directly match what you have put on your active care relationship service file. You will also be able to see, next slide, the other care team members for that patient. So Bob Blue also sees other doctors. And those other doctors and their organizations are connected to MiHIN. And those organizations, on behalf of their providers, send in their active relationship service files. Here in the patient viewer, we are making clear to you all of the providers that have declared an active care relationship service with your patient. We have heard really good things about being able to quickly pull up information about, and this is up-to-date information because everybody's sending in their ACRES files at least 30 days, up-to-date information about a patient's care team. This all happens in your patient viewer. Next slide, please. Now, should note that within the patient viewer, you will also find what we call the longitudinal record. You called it Viper. We're going to call it, I think the button will say longitudinal. And it is from the patient viewer that you will launch the new longitudinal record. And we'll show you that in a bit. Wait, is there something else I should say here? I guess I should say, no, we're going to go. We're going to keep going. Next slide. Okay. So this is just to show you, yeah, there's that longitudinal button that you're going to click. Next slide. All right. That was patient viewer. We're going to talk now about something we call the TOC viewer. TOC viewer is for population health management. This means that you are going to be using this module to see all of your patients and information, up-to-date information about all of your patients. Next slide. So let's just see here. Again, the active care relationship service, it tells our network which providers are associated with a patient, creating a map of that patient's care team. And In this TOC viewer, you will see to filter how you look at your patient population. So next slide. You'll see here that the TOC viewer offers human-readable versions of ADT notifications that have been sent for that patient. You'll be able to filter those ADT notifications based on message type by sending organization. You will be able to view any medication reconciliation message, which it also could be known as a CCD, that is associated with that notification for the patient. And you can also work the notification queue and take action on the messages for your patient population. Let's share what that looks like. Next slide. Okay. So when you get to the TOC viewer, what will be filled out for you already on the back end will be where you see Sunnyside, right? Where you see the words Acres file. Your Acres file will be chosen for you when you onboard to MiGateway. You will need to be participating in the active care relationship service to use MiGateway. Next slide. Okay, so here's just like an example of what you would see. So in the morning, let's just say your care manager comes into the TOC viewer and pulls up information from your Acres file to see who the night before or since the last time you looked into this viewer, who has had like event notification, who has had admits, discharge, or transfers from a hospital. So you'll be able to see all of your patients and you know what they're up to. Next slide. You will be able to, like we said, as you move through these patients and as you look through the information, you'll be able to tell the system which ones you want to see again and which ones you have already worked on. Next slide. Okay. You will also be able to click into the ADT. You will be able to view the ADT. You can see the summary, patient ID, patient visit information, message header, the event type, insurance. Whatever's captured on the ADT, you will be able to move through it. Next slide. Okay. In this tab, when you move into seeing the ADT, if there is a care summary available and connected to that event, you will also be able to view the care summary. Now, I'm just going to show my screen really quick to give you a sense of what this looks like. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go, I'm going to go here. Sorry, guys. I want this to be in my head, it goes much smoother. Just worked on. Is this it? Can you see my screen? Is it? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. So I want to show you guys what this looks like. And again, this is the summary of care that is connected to the event notification for a patient. And, you know, look, you can scroll through it. We give you a table of contents, and you can click through the table of contents to get to, you know, to get to each of these, let's say these chapters. But this has a wealth of information. And if you are used to looking at CCDs in this way, you will find hopefully what you are looking for to take your best care. There is a lot of information provided in these message types. And you have the opportunity to scroll in and look around for any of the patients that you have an active care relationship with. This is one view we offer of this type of message type. And Megan, I know you're here and I know you're better at this than me. So you better come in and say more things. All right. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, back to you, Ella. All right. So that was the care summary. Remember, you were in the TOC viewer. You came in, you saw a list of your patients that had been admitted, discharged, or transferred from the hospital from the last time you looked there, and you were able to filter it, which I'll show you in a bit. And you are able to click into the associated CCD for those clients. Next slide. I want to talk a little bit about Manage Acres. I'm going to try and go through this kind of quickly. I don't know if, unless you guys want me to, oh, I see a lot of people. Okay, unless you guys want me to slow down, but I'm going to move through Manage Acres a little bit faster. I hope that you were able to join us for our Acres download, where we talked about this service. We talked about how it is fundamental to how we exchange information. Now, there are three ways that you can establish your active care relationships. You can send flat files via an SFTP. You can choose if you are exchanging information with us, if you are sending us your ADTs, then we can use those ADTs and attribute those patients to you automatically. Or you can use MiGateway to manage your patient population and to upload your files instead of going to the SFTP route. Next slide. You'll see here that there is information that you'll have to input, and you can actually filter through all of your relationships in this module. Next slide. You can add new relationships. You can remove relationships. Next slide. There are required fields for you to add a relationship. And some of you here will need to be adding relationships on the fly. Because you won't know what patient is walking through that door. We have a number of entities that we are so proud to work with, one being like organ donor entities. And if I have any of my organ donor entities here, please speak up. But they don't know who they're going to be looking for until they're told to look for somebody. And so they would be needing to add relationships on the fly. You'll need the first name, last name, date of birth, gender, address, phone number. You'll need the acres population that you are adding to will already be in there. And if it's the managing organization, if that's the type of file it is, you would use that as well. Next slide. All right. So that was to go patient by patient. And some of you really do go patient by patient. You go patient by patient when you're looking in a longitudinal record. So you will go patient by patient sometimes to add that person to your active care relationship roster in order to look at the ADTs, the CCDs, the labs, the longitudinal record for that patient. You can also use the file submission method in MiGateway, where it's just what it says. You submit your files via this module. A nice thing about this module, next slide, is that it's you are able to see the validation of the file in real time in ways that you are not when you submit via SFTP. New slide, please. You can check on the status. Is it ready to go? Next slide. You will be getting information about why it isn't why it isn't put through validation. There may be errors, and it will point out to you where the errors are. Next slide. Again, really just giving you more information so that we can get those patients into the system and get you the information that we have about them to you as quickly as possible. Next slide. Another cross-validation, that's a cross-validation error. And if you have questions about our validation process, we can get into it for sure. I can send you information. It's a process to participate in the active care relationship service. It is a very important, very tight, very standardized process. And it is at the basis of everything that we do. Next slide. Oh, the longitudinal patient record. So all of you are like, God, just get to the point. We really love this longitudinal record. We want to understand, you know, like what it's going to look like. How is it going to work? So I'm going to show you a little bit about how it's going to look. And I would just want to say that like a longitudinal patient record is what it is. It exists because because of what the CCD looks like. You saw scrolling through a long, really detailed, incredibly data-rich document. You saw what that was like. A longitudinal patient record aggregates the data that is in those messages and pulls it up for you in a really easy way to find the stuff that you're looking for. Let's see, do we have another slide here, or is it my turn to show you? Okay, just to remind you, the patient viewer, you were looking for a patient. You want to get information about that patient. You want that patient's longitudinal record. You put in their name, you pull them up in patient viewer, and you will click the longitudinal record button. And then you will be taken to something that looks like this. And now I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, here we go. Almost there. Okay. Nope, that's not it. That is really not it. Truthfully not it. All right, here we are. Here's Bob Blue. This is what our new longitudinal record. Can you guys see it? Please say you can. Yeah? Can you?
Yes.
Okay, good. This is what our new longitudinal record is going to look like. And it's going to be pulling from all of those sending sources for all of the patients that you are actively caring for. You will see, you'll see the patient information. You'll see their contact information. You will see their medications, their allergies, documents that we have on file. You will see encounters, labs, a clinical timeline. You will be able to view and print this as you need to. You will be able to click into the clinical timelines for more information. You will be able to dynamically search, let's see here, dynamically search lab results. dynamically search encounters, dynamically search documents, dynamically search allergies. You will be able to, let's see, can we view? Let's view a document. You will be able to view these documents. You will be able to click in, around, and out. That's it. That's the new Viper. And it's sitting in our good old gateway, which is the portal to our network. Um, let's see. I don't know if there's any more slides. I was really hoping that what's going on in the chat? What does everybody want to talk about or see? We are building these we are building out our test and our demos and our production environments as we speak. And as soon as they are ready, we will be launching them. We will not be taking away what you need to take care of your patients without giving you something of equal, but we feel more value. Yes, you can drill down into the longitudinal record to the detail of the encounters. Everything that is aggregated within, I think we call them cards, essentially. You can keep digging in, keep clicking in. Can you download specific raw XML? Gosh, this is where I don't know for sure, Lee, if it's XML and not just PDF. Is there anybody from my team that might be able to answer that question right here on the fly?
Lee, are you talking about from the new longitudinal record viewer or from the TOC viewer of MiGateway? Viper. Let me see if I have an answer for you buried somewhere. So I'm going to go check and I will be right back.
Yeah, I see CSV and I see PDF, but I don't know about XML. What else is happening here? I think if you were at our overview of the integrated technology platform, our big migration, you will know that our end game, our be all, do all, what you want us, we want you to think about us as is not going to be a tool. It is going to be the way that you can access this wealth of information that we are hoping to supercharge the data quality of in the ways that you want it. This viewer is a FHIR-enabled viewer. It is connecting directly into our new clinical data repository, FHIR Resource Clinical Data Repository. And soon, here in a couple years, you guys will be creating your own FHIR systems. You will be working with your systems to get, to access, to find, right? To find and use all of this network data the way that you want it. We are committed to offering you a floor of technical capability. But really, the strength is in the data and your access to the data and understanding who has access to any one patient's data at one time. let's see. When is MiGateway launching? So if you've ever built a house or gotten toddlers ready in the morning, no, we are looking at a we're trying to plan out a sort of phased migration of people who are maybe already on MiGateway, maybe only on Viper and not participating in the active care relationship service yet. We are looking at moving them through these stage gates. And we are really looking at doing that by May. We have pushed this date back. It is the reality of our situation, and we are committed to making sure, like I said, that you have what you need until we give you something better. Okay, yeah, there's some questions here. We have other tools. Another tool that many of you may use is called Referrals Plus. Referrals Plus is not being impacted by our integrated technology platform. And it is not connected to MiGateway, at least today. Will MiGateway include section to upload advanced care planning documents? And will that function be for an additional cost or part of the standard MiGateway for all users? So we have been working with the state of Michigan and some other vendors, specifically AD Vault, to create a bridge between MiGateway and these other sort of like data repositories, right? So AD Vault is a repository of advanced care documents. I know that we have built out sort of for, I think, the first phase of functionality where you'll be able to pull from AD Vault for your patients into MiGateway. I do not know at today if you will be able to upload via MiGateway. What if your organization doesn't use AD Vault? Right. So there will be documents that can be queried for in MiGateway. I don't know what phase that will be, but if the documents exist in other repositories that we are querying, if it's there, we will get it for you. Amy, that's not a full answer. But once we get up and running, we will give you the options for how to access advanced care documents besides AD Vault. Can currently download, Dave, hi, we can currently download HL7 messages from TOC Viewer. Will that remain possible with the new longitudinal record? So
I was,
yeah.
I'm sorry, Joanne, I was just responding to you, Dave, in the chat. So I can step in here. How you're downloading data right now from the TOC viewer will remain the same. There are not going to be changes to that component. Though similar question to what Lee had asked earlier about how data can be downloaded from the longitudinal viewer, I did see that there is an option for the ability to print and or download as a PDF, but we'll have to go back to our internal teams to figure out if there is an ability to download the raw HL7 message or to download the data as an XML file.
I see a plea here in the chat. Please, users do not want to go outside their EHRs. We get it. And we are working on a single sign-on solution where your patient context there'll be like a handoff between systems, and the patient that you're looking at in your EMR will be the patient that you pull up hopefully via a button, via single sign-on, um, through the longitudinal record. Record testing launching within the platform. Alma, I'm not, if anybody, please come on and talk to me.
Oh, Alma had sent me a chat earlier in the
Oh,
thread that she would be willing to act as a pilot for that on behalf of St. Mary's PHO.
beautiful. For population health, do we have to use acres if we decide not to share or download information? If we would only want to access information? Okay. So to access the information for your patients that's flowing through our network, you have to send us the information that shows us that you have an active care relationship with these people. So Dawn, you don't have to send us information about your patients, clinical information about your patients, but you do have to send us information about who your patients are so that we can find the right information and show you the right information for the right patients. Does that make sense? You are actually sharing information with Viper. There is an EMPI. There is a patient matching. It's happening in the background. But you don't have to share patient information in order to receive it. I would ask though, and I'm going to ask Ella if you can bring your slides back, my slides back up for a second, because this is an interesting question. And it gets to the nature of exchange. I think it's my second to last. Keep going. Nope, the other way. Thank you. You're doing great. Okay. What information do you need to take better care? What information do you not have easy access to today? And also, what information do you have to share? Um, Receiving and being able to access information is like, it's why we're here. And I wonder sometimes about what information other people may want, what information people may want from you, Dawn. What do you know about your patients that could make for better care at one of their other doctor's offices? What would an emergency room, person, what would they need? Do you have information that they should know before they treat this person? Exchange. It's about exchange. You can discuss it with me. You can discuss it with any of the account executives. We have ambulance run sheets would be beneficial for EDs. We're actually working, Julie, with an ambulance EMR provider. I know that these are just another disconnected sort of entity, and we're working on it. What would it look like if every ambulance driver was able to create an active care relationship on their way to save a life? What what would that do? We want to know. We need patient admissions and discharges. Great, Marianne, we've got them. We are exchanging 3 billion admission, discharge, and transfer notifications like a year. We also need death notifications. Great news. We have death notifications. We have a new use case where MDHHS sends we are able to query MDHHS for certified death notifications.
Hey,
Mental health.
Joanne, I just want to provide a quick clarifying statement there. So right now, the death notifications that we receive from the state of Michigan through ADT notifications is currently only available for us to send back to hospitals and our health systems. That does not mean in the future that that could change. However, understanding that you need that information, Marianne, I can tell you that um, the death indicator is a field within an ADT notification that is populated with either a Y or an N. Organizations that are participating in Blue Cross Blue Shield's pay for performance conformance initiative are required to populate that field at least 95% of the time. So in majority cases, you're going to have one or two values within that ADT notification that will help provide insight to your organization based on that patient's current status.
Absolutely, Marianne. We work with almost every CMH. We would love to connect with more behavioral health organizations. I would love to start getting the dentists. We want to create a really rich network for you. And if you need one place to access all of the information that we are exchanging, MiGateway is the place. Or build build your Fire viewer and let's start moving into the future. Court systems. Yeah, Amy, I know you've been so deeply involved. Part of the, our chain of trust is based on HIPAA. And, certainly we are piloting a really beautiful project with those that are serving be like in a behavioral health clinician role in schools. And we are seeing how they work with MiGateway. But to do that, we had to research FERPA. We have to research, so there's all these guidelines, but certainly um, connecting sectors is what we aim to do. And there's just going to be more systems, and they're all going to want to keep that data inside the system, which is part of the business model. But sometimes sometimes the information is too critical to keep to yourself. Let's see. Court system, legal guardianship. Yeah, Amy, right. You guys were talking, we did that series about like how advanced care documents, like it's not like it's a standardized message content, right? I mean, it's documents and it's different and they're iterative and they change all the time. But like, right, these letters of legal guardianship, I know is like where we landed. And I know that we have reported that back to the Health Information Technology Commission at MDHHS. I would love to see, what happens next there. What is the process when a facility isn't in the platform? Missing ADT events, right? Yes. What happens? We have to go get them. What information don't you have and from where? Is it because okay, so like I'm in charge, of outreach. I will tell you, I don't think it's because we haven't asked. It might just be that we're waiting on a legal agreement. It might be that we have to redevelop a technology to access. But the more that we hear from you that you are missing critical information, the more we have to take to those entities to say, we people really need this. How can we get it?
I also want to add some context here to Jennifer. So, a couple of things. Recently, Blue Cross Blue Shield has been in communication with some skilled nursing facilities and has informed them or has provided them a deadline date for when they need to start engaging with MiHIN to start contributing ADTs at a minimum to the statewide infrastructure or the statewide network if they haven't already done so. So I know that we personally, I've seen quite a few tickets already come in from the skilled nursing facilities and those hospitals and health systems that represent them, asking some questions about, what that process looks like. Additionally, the MiHIN team is also working with Point Click Care so that we will receive all of the skilled nursing facility ADTs that Point Click Care has available within the state of Michigan to have those ADTs not only sent to MiHIN, but MiHIN will also be able to disseminate those ADT notifications outbound where there is that active care relationship. So we're currently working on finalizing some of the legal questions there, which I anticipate to be wrapped up here within the next couple of weeks. And then we start the actual implementation process and sort of getting all the connections set up and everything set from that perspective. And then we'll eventually start receiving that additional SNF ADT data from Point Click Care, which at that point, I would say probably 98% of the skilled nursing facilities would be contributing those ADT notifications to MiHIN.
Like, I can't think of a better job than having somebody say, go get them. We need it. Go get them. Great. Yes, please tell us what you need. Let's go get it. Um, I want to, Megan, this question from Jennifer about being attributed to a patient via, you know, via a declaration. It's not declared act, it's attributed, I think. Attributed to a patient by, oh, hey, Matt, perfect timing. Being attributed to a patient by a payer, right? And then you're saying, Jennifer, so we're attributed to by payers, but the patients don't come through to you? Or can you tell me
Uh,
what you're asking? Can you see what payers are saying you are attributed to?
Joanne,
Um,
the way
yeah,
I'm reading that, sorry, just while we're waiting for Jennifer, it's Jennifer's organization is making first party attributions about who their patients are. I would read that to say, can we see the data that are being made by the third party, the payer, right? And there is a legal carve out in the Acres use case. They call it an assigned active care relationship versus a declared. I think that's
sign.
what you
That's
were
right.
looking for, right? So that is what that was for, was to have these pair attributed relationships. And as you showed in your deck earlier, very well, I think if you have an active care relationship, then you can see the data in like the longitudinal viewer or TOC viewer. So technically and legally, there is a you know, there's a framework for that. I think it just needs to be operationalized.
Well, when we have sending facilities, so if a patient, right, how would she know to look up a patient? She wouldn't know to look up the patient.
Right. We would have to understand how the payer, we would have to capture the attributions from the payer for that provider and then make them available to them, whether it's through some separate acres population that we assign to the provider, or, we'd have to talk about how to operationalize that. Like, how would they know to find the attributed
How
patient?
would they know, right, if they don't know? And so she's saying, can we use this to find out to to see those to see those patients? Okay, that's something to work on, I think. So I can. Yes, absolutely. But wait, but hold on one more second. Matt, if Jennifer's organization is attributed to a patient by a payer and that patient goes to the hospital, won't that patient show up for Jennifer in her in her TOC viewer?
Not unless Jennifer's organization included that patient in their ACRES
In
file.
their ACRES
So
file.
I think it's just a matter of like how we interpret these attributions on behalf of Jennifer or the payer, so it's got to be that.
I think
If
I'm putting this here, something for the MiHIN Operations Advisory Council, for sure. Okay.
Because Jennifer's going to see her ACRES populations, not the
Her
payers.
own ACRES populations, right. Oh, it's 402. Guys, there will be more. It will be better. Every day it's going to get better. Every day it's going to get more clear. We are here for you. Migrations are not easy. We are committed to making this network as strong and as robust and as useful and valuable as possible. Thank you for being here. I will be sending out the slides as I do, and I'm available to you. And so is Megan and all of our customer engagement team. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joanne.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you.